Hello, all. It is I, the Deep Diver, here. And I come to you with a new entry from my book, Looking Inwards for a Better Life. Now, if you look closely, there's a wolf on the cover. I think I've said this before, that is inspired by wolves. Wolves, plural. Now, I got most of the idea from a Native American myth, or legend, folktale, what have you. I was raised around the Native Americans. I do not identify as a Native American for many reasons. Anyway, there is one where a young man is having trouble in his life with feelings of joy, anger, elation, sadness, things we all struggle with. And he asks the elder, "How do I control these emotions?" And he asked the elder that. And the elder said, "You can't. Because there's two types, there's two creatures in every person." And he's wondering, well, what are these two creatures? He said, everybody has two wolves in them. Everybody. There's two parts of us. Two types of people. And one is the calm, kind, understanding wolf, or patient wolf. The one we try to have all the time. The one we try to go forward with. It's there as our identity, as ourselves. It's what we think reflects us, what we believe ourselves to be. It helps experience all the positive, all the nice, all the warming, welcoming things of life. Then on the other side is the angry wolf. The angry wolf is how we can feel in an instant. It reflects what we feel in the moment. It's angry, vicious, cunning, conniving, spiteful, vindictive, what have you. And it's what happens when others or events in life affect us. What we jump to. What's in the moment. Whereas the calm wolf is more long-term, more growing. This is more destructive. The yin and the yang, so to have you. And he's like, well, I've experienced both those in good amounts. How can I control them? He's like, you can't. Then what do you do with them? It depends what you feed them, the elder says to the young man. What you choose to consume. Because everything has a stomach. Everything. Even these two wolves have stomachs. And what gets bigger is what you feed it. And he says, well, do I just feed the calm wolf? He's like, no. Sometimes you will be angry, justifiably so, or need to defend yourself against others. There is a place for it. Then the youth looks confused. He's like, well, then do I only feed the angry wolf? He's like, no, you do not feed just the angry wolf. There will be times where you want to be calm, understanding, loving, instead of angry. These are the times you cherish. These ones will also open you up for the angry wolf, but you need to have them in balance. And this is impossible, or close to it for humans. We need balance. But we are not balanced beings because of this. So we try to get that line to be whole. And I put that in a smaller version, or Cliff Notes version, in my book, Embrace the Wolf Within. And there's another title for my book, which I've been trying to change the title, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just going to merely put in the collection I'm going to plan this year next with my book, Don't Come Pray, called Howl from the Heart. So I see a lot of people on the internet, angry, crashing out, crying. It's a new trend. People get on social media and they just let it rip. They let it loose. The anger, the sadness, all the emotions. And I think this is very sad. Either these people have nobody to tell that to, or the people they talk to don't see it as a problem. And that's what I don't like. A lot of people like to invalidate other people's problems to a very large extent. That's why a lot of people choose to be online. People don't really want friends or family. A good amount don't. They want fans. People who won't question them, make them think. Will not ask more of them. They can come and go as they please. They're temporary, but they live in the mind, in the heart, that they exist, they matter, because they are not feeling those through their main life, which it's hard to go through that, but it's good to let it out. You need a release. And I think a lot of people on social media have a problem with language or words. And there's another wolf that inspired this. I don't know if you've heard of Norse mythology, but it's from mythology derived from Scandinavian, Finland, and other parts of that region's myths. The creation, the destruction, and everything in between of life. How it unfolds, how it folds, how it goes up and down, why this thing happened, why that happened. And myth helps explain things at the time. You can think of science now as directly explaining things. Even though there's some things we still can't make heads or tails of. There's some issues that just don't want to be solved. There's nothing we can do about that. But there's a character I actually thought about writing a book on called the Fenris Wolf. Now, who is the Fenris Wolf? Well, it's the son of Loki, the god of mischief, anger, and trickery, and lies. And he's one of 3 children. Hela, the goddess of death in the underworld, the Jormungand serpent, and the Fenris wolf. And I may have butchered some of those, but you get the idea. And it highlights a lot in life. You see, I believe Loki and his children represent the outcasts of society. Loki was an orphan. In some stories he betrayed his father, but mostly he's alone. Till he got around and got some kids. But instead of breaking the cycle of being a bad father like his father Laufey, the Giant King, who caused untold trauma and pain on the world and suffering, he made it worse. You see, he got the benefit of the doubt of not suffering for his father's sins. Loki did. He did not give the same charity to his children. And this is even foretold by prophecy, where each being of the pantheon will have a counterpart. For instance, the Jormungand serpent was Thor's difference. Hela was just there, and Fenrir had a very special role. He was the youngest monster out of this. And his opponent was going to be Odin, the king of the gods. Now, there's a lot of similarities between Odin and Fenrir. Fenrir wants to consume everything. Odin wants to learn everything. And the way they go about it, that goes about these goals, define them. For instance, when Fenrir was just a puppy, barely had his eyes opened, he was so small he'd fit into the god of war's pocket, Tyr, son of Odin. And it was told in prophecy that he would destroy everything, eat the moon, cause calamity as his brood would, as his brothers and sisters would. And Odin didn't like that. Now, you see, Odin was the god of wisdom and knowledge, but even he couldn't tell the future, so he didn't know this is even real or right. And my headcanon theory is Loki planned that prophecy or worked with it. And it's funny, Loki is usually portrayed as a diminutive giant, but he teaches you one thing. It doesn't matter how small your hands are if you can have your opponent play right into them. And that's what I think he did. He made Odin paranoid, which is the weakness of people with high intelligences or wisdom. They get paranoid of their own place. And Odin is a king. He's like the high society. And then there was a wolf, the villain, the dredges. And he was supposed to be one of the greatest monsters of Norse mythology, which he is. And he was Odin saw a way to circumvent this or stall this or stop it. He had Fenrir binded in chains and cloth. Now you're thinking, this is the Fenris wolf. It's a monster. It doesn't like being held down. It doesn't like being captured. And you're right. It doesn't. So you see, Odin had to trick it. You see, Tyr, as I mentioned before, had made friends with the Fenris wolf and grown up with it, from a puppy to its bigger form. And even he knew what it was capable of. And Odin said, if you can break these binds. And they put him in it. Now, you see, these were not normal chains or ropes or what have you. These were much more powerful. You see, they were made with abstract concepts. You know, the sound of a cat's footsteps, whiskers from a woman's beard, the sound of a goldfish breathing. You know, things like that. Like things that don't even exist were made to control this thing. And you're wondering where I'm going with this. Well, that's what happens a lot with people on the internet. They don't know how to take stuff, don't understand. There's no context, there's no depth, there's no deeper meaning. It's just all surface. Well, there's a question I'd like to ask everybody. It's their fault for saying something bad about you, but whose fault is it for being true? Which is something I think we all need to take into account. Fenrir was created as an outcast, a monster, a demon, mind you, and just set to destroy the world, the holy monster, the apocalypse. And he wasn't about that. But he was betrayed. His best friend Tyr said to put on these binds, and he did. And he told Tyr he would put them on if he could put his hand in his mouth. And he bit it off. And Tyr did it knowing his duty, knowing it was going to happen. And, yeah. The bindings were broke by himself. And you're thinking, things that don't exist can bind you? Yes. Lies, half-truths, delusions, contradictions, rationalizations. The world's full of them. And a lot of people I see don't break those binds. They give them more powerful. They feed the monster, the Fenris wolf inside you. They make it stronger, meaner. And just like any good problem, it only gets bigger until it can't. It breaks the bind and we let it out. Because people aren't communicating. They aren't talking to each other. And I think that's Fenrir's greatest tragedy, that he wasn't allowed to. They saw him for what his father was, not for what he was. And they passed around that generational suffering and pain to him. But he was innocent. He was said he would do it. Didn't say he would. But they pushed him into it. They made the prophecy self-fulfilling. Which, again, I think Loki did this on purpose. As most people, a lot of people did like setting people up or getting them. Or gotcha moments. And that's not good. We need good, organic talking points. The main part of the book, the main tagline is, truth hurts, but honesty kills. And Odin learned that the hard way. So that's my other wolf. Thank you. Have a nice day.